Erika Kirk just got caught doing the unthinkable. She's facing imminent investigation, and it's over something new this time because now we have some fresh leaks and they're showing she has some major violations of the law. And listen, we know Erika Kirk has had a very busy few months. Her husband was on a Utah college campus last September. She inherited control of one of the most powerful political organizations, conservative movements in the country. And somehow, in the middle of all the grift and the grief, she found time to turn Charlie Kirk's name into a fully operational endorsement machine.
Charlie Kirk endorsed, Steve Hilton for governor. We're behind you 100%, my friend. Keep going.
Thank you, man.
Keep going.
That is currently generating millions in ad spend. And it's also reshaping Republican primaries from Kentucky to Arizona and Texas and raising some seriously uncomfortable questions about like who's authorizing these endorsements, who's profiting from them, and is any of this even illegal? Because it turns out you can't consent when you're dead. So what we end up with is a dead man's face, voice, and his name becoming a political commodity, with one woman pulling all the strings, controlling all the rights to all of it. And then we have the FEC, campaign finance law, and basic questions of consent and authenticity tending to get a little complicated in the mix here with Erika Kirk. And Erika Kirk, bless her heart, she's not exactly rushing to clear any of this up. So I'm going to show you exactly why today was not a coincidence and why the primary results out of Kentucky connect directly to a multi-million-dollar operation running out of Turning Point USA by Erika Kirk. And also why Stephen Little Bitch Miller felt the need to film his ratty, pasty little face screaming into his phone today. Because there's a connected tissue here, and we're gonna look at it together. And real quick, I'm Lauren Paritra. Willa Paritra is sitting in the sun, and she's way too hot, but refuses to get out of it. So wish me luck. And we run this entire operation network-free and independent every single day out of pure principle and an absolute refusal to let monsters like Katie Miller, who married Stephen Little Bitch Miller on purpose, catch up. And thank you for 100,000 subscribers. We're not slowing down anytime soon. Every sub, every follow, every comment, 6 words or more, every action you take across wherever you listen, wherever you get your podcasts, Willa and I see it all. And we've been told it creates a protective barrier between you and Stephen Miller coming out of your drain at 3 a.m, deeply upset about immigrants. So stay safe out there, subscribe. Let's work towards a timeline where that man is in a windowless cage. So since Charlie Kirk was killed, candidates across the country have been racing to attach his name to their campaigns. So as one Arizona GOP strategist put it, these are the final endorsements Charlie Kirk ever gave. Finite. You can't repeat these. And right now, Erika Kirk controls the supply. So we're looking at Kentucky, Iowa, Arizona, Texas. We have candidates flooding the airwaves with Charlie's face, with his voice, with his likeness, some with his actual pre-death endorsements, but many without. So we have Ken Paxton, who released an ad featuring a clip of Charlie Kirk saying, "Ken Paxton, we're behind you 100%.
Charlie Kirk knew Ken Paxton was a conservative warrior.
Joining us is one of the best attorney generals in the country. He's a terrific American patriot, Ken Paxton, from the great state of Texas. You have this fire-breathing, amazing, Constitution-loving Texan attorney general who's doing a great job. Ken Paxton, who's a great American patriot.
You have done a fantastic job.
Ken Paxton, we're behind you 100%.
Ken Paxton, the Turning Point Action endorsed leader to fight for Texas.
Except that clip came from a 2024 podcast about investment firm lawsuits. Kirk never endorsed Paxton for Senate. They ran the ad anyway. Nobody at Turning Point USA said a peep. Funny how the silence always seems to benefit somebody's bag, and that somebody is usually Erika Kirk. So keep that detail in the back of your mind because it matters more than you think. And then when we zoom out for a second and look at the legal issues here, under FEC rules, using a political figure's name and likeness in a coordinated advertising effort triggers disclosure requirements. Authorization rules apply, coordination. And when a dead man's endorsement is being packaged and distributed with Turning Point USA's Tyler Bauer, publicly calling it a huge honor, the line between political speech and kind of a coordinated in-kind contribution disappears real quick. And nobody is asking, hey, Charlie Kirk's dead. Who authorized these clips? Nobody is asking whether Erika has any legal basis to grant posthumous endorsements on behalf of somebody who cannot confirm or withdraw them. So Charlie Kirk's name here is becoming an ATM where Erika Kirk is holding and swiping away at the card. That would already be worth talking about, but it goes further. So since Charlie's death, we know Erika Kirk has been on a Vegas-style residency tour, talking into every mic on every conservative stage she can find, selling you something at every stop. T-shirt, cannon, guns, basically at his memorial. Erika Kirk has done a total takeover. We've seen too many speeches that none of us asked for. We've seen her make major organizational decisions, change up the messaging. Her succession plans materialized almost immediately.
This was exactly what Charlie wanted. He had made plans because he was, getting death threats all the time. He knew that there were people that wanted to hurt him. And obviously we took precautions in that way, but he was prepared. And he told me personally, he told members of the board and other executives at the organization that should something happen, that Erika was going to be the person that took over.
Claims that Charlie had explicitly chosen Erika as the successor. Demands from donors and commentators, including Candace Owens, have been saying, we want to see the full recordings rather than these edited clips, because there's real accusations of doctored audio. And then there's counter leaks. There's also been a lot of chatter around closed-door messaging. We have a 60-part series on YouTube where we go into detail on every single one of these claims. But questions are getting asked, and it doesn't seem like the full answers are ever coming. So Turning Point USA continues to move forward anyway. Anything for a buck. Today's episode is brought to you by Chapter. You know what else is unhinged? The way Medicare works. Like, super unhinged. Look, I spent 15 years inside marketing machines. I know the difference between a system built to help you and one built to confuse you. Medicare is the second one. There are thousands of plans, so much conflicting information, never-ending spam calls. That's why you need to know about Chapter. Chapter is the only Medicare advisor that compares every plan nationwide. The doctors you like, the medications you take, your priorities. They use it all to find a plan that actually fits your life. So if you've already found the right plan, they'll tell you. If not, they'll help you switch. Just last year alone, seniors who found new plans with Chapter saved an average of $1,100 on healthcare costs. So if you're turning 65 or you're already on Medicare, call Chapter at 424-292-6476. That's my LPTV listener hotline, and it is free. It takes under 20 minutes. Seriously, just do it. That's 424-292-6476, and I'll also include this information in the video description. So Thomas Massie became a major tell. Charlie Kirk was vocal about his respect for Thomas Massie.
Thomas Massie, who's just terrific, from Kentucky. My favorite members of Congress. He loves the Constitution. He loves liberty. He's honest and he's tough, and he's going to really go after the intel agencies.
He called him one of the good ones. And by multiple accounts, he seemed to mean it, especially knowing that Massie has been really critical of Israel and the IDF and Netanyahu and not wanting to take AIPAC money, which he has not done. So Charlie also shared a lot of those same values. And Massie represented exactly the kind of politics that Charlie Kirk spent years championing. And he did that publicly. So hold on to that, because today, at the time of this recording, Massie has conceded and lost his primary. Erika Kirk and Turning Point USA didn't endorse him. The organization plastering Charlie Kirk's face on mailers for Arizona city council races and passing on the one person in Congress Charlie actually liked. There are repeated instances of Charlie tweeting about it and saying that he supported Massie. And once you see what happens next, the earlier details hit completely different. So who got endorsed instead? Candidates useful to Erika Kirk. Candidates who keep the money flowing into her pocket. Charlie's name was on the mailer for this. Erika's priorities were in the outcome and in the buck. Now, I promised you a video. and a hat and a Stephen a little bitch Miller meltdown. And here's where everything kind of clicks into place. Stephen a little bitch Miller wanted to take the chance to start vlogging. And I pray to Lady Gaga that this is not an indicator of a future podcast to come, because I'm not built to take that. Stephen Miller, though, again, a guy who never has a good time ever, he got on camera in his little phone and his little MAGA hat that he looks like he bought from the gas station. And he spent 2 minutes screaming about Thomas Massie in a tone that was so monotone. I was like, what is happening? He barely blinked. His little beady eyes barely blinked once.
Stephen Miller here to talk with you about a very important subject, which is how Tom Massie betrayed America, betrayed you, and betrayed your children. The single most important issue affecting the future of our country is ending the mass third world invasion of America and reversing that invasion. And on the most important issue, on the most important vote, on the most important bill, on the most important day, Tom Massie sided with every House Democrat, every Senate Democrat, Hakeem Jeffries, Nancy Pelosi, and Chuck Schumer against President Trump, against the American people, and against you and your family. When the time came to vote for President Trump's signature border security and immigration enforcement bill, the bill to provide record funding for ICE and Border Patrol and mass deportation, Tom Massie voted no. Tom Massie voted to kill the bill. Tom Massie sided with the House and Senate Democrats over the sovereignty of this republic. And Tom Massie said we could all pound sand.
Here's the detail most people are going to miss. In January, Massie was the only Republican to vote against a Homeland Security funding bill. Miller called him directly beforehand and told him this was the most important vote of his life. Massie told him to pound sand and hung up. And then the bill passed. Trump signed it months ago. Miller posted his little video today about a phone call that didn't go his little Miller bitch way. Months later, right on schedule. But what's worth paying attention here is to the language. Miller didn't say Massie voted wrong on the spending bill. He said Massie betrayed your children by failing to stop the mass third world invasion of America. Great replacement theory is what Stephen Miller is talking about here with his little ring light. He stopped even trying to pretend like this is any sort of policy. Stephen Little Bitch Miller is uncloseted in his hatred of anyone who's not a pale white man who looks like he eats mayonnaise every day of his life. And then there's background to this video that most people might miss. The real fuel here is the Schmepstein files. Massie teamed up with Democrat Congressman Ro Khanna to force Trump to release documents the White House had been sitting on. Documents Trump had promised his voters he'd release. Massie embarrassed them publicly. And once you understand that piece, Miller's little Millery meltdown makes total sense. Trump doesn't forget. Miller doesn't forget. So on the day of Massie's primary, Miller posted an unhinged video in a very structurally compromised hat to settle his little personal score. Miller thinks he got a win, but we're all just like deeply unsettled by that video. And then somewhere today, Erika Kirk, she's updating the mailers. She's cashing a check. The details here are really strange. We're going to keep digging in here. I want to know what you guys think. Do you think it's inappropriate for Erika Kirk to be going against her dead husband's wishes and favorite congressmen and elected officials to push her strange Erika Kirky agenda? Does that make you feel some sort of way? Any Erika Kirk stands still here. Any Turning Point USA heads still here who have another perspective to offer. I want to hear from you. Leave us a comment. 6 words or more. Find us wherever you get your podcasts. We are always available on YouTube every night, and then Spotify the next morning. We are a daily show, self-funded, all the things, and we do this out of pure principle to keep a lead on Katie Miller, the human shield to Stephen Little Bitch Miller. We'll be back with more.